What is the most popular drink in the world? Water is the most popular drink in the world. It hydrates the body and the brain. It's a natural blood thinner. It provides energy, detoxifies the body, and creates an alert mind, diminishes brain fog. Ministry of Healing says that pure water is one of heaven's choicest blessings. It's the beverage which God has provided for man and animals, and drunk freely, it helps to supply the necessities of the system and assist nature to resist disease. But what is the second most popular drink in the U.S.? Coffee. So coffee, Americans consume around 650 million cups of coffee per day, which equals about 200 billion cups per year. The average coffee drinker consumes 3 cups of coffee per day. And Americans spent $74 billion on coffee in 2015, for example. 74% of people drink coffee every single day. In the book Counsels on Diets and Foods, we read that the money expended for tea and coffee is worse than wasted. They do the user only harm, and that continually. Those who use tea, coffee, opium, and alcohol may sometimes live to an old age, but this fact is no argument in favor of the use of these stimulants. What these persons might have accomplished but failed to do because of their intemperate habits, the great day of God alone will reveal. Starbucks is the most popular brand of coffee. We all recognize this logo, but where does this image come from? In Greek mythology, this marine goddess of seduction would sing to sailors who would hear and have an irresistible desire to jump into the ocean to their drowning death. This is a parallel to what's happening today, but now representing an irresistible, seductive beverage. Caffeine is the chemical in coffee that makes it addictive. It's the world's most heavily used drug. Here are some of the other beverages that contain caffeine. Coffee has around 100 milligrams of caffeine per cup, but notice that black tea has more caffeine than a can of Coke. According to international research conducted by the University of South Florida, caffeine influences what you purchase and how much you spend when you go shopping. According to the study, customers who drank a free cup of caffeinated coffee entering a store spent over 50% more money and purchased around 30% more goods than those who were offered water. The study stated that caffeine, as a powerful stimulant, releases dopamine in the brain, which excites the mind and body. This leads to a higher energetic state, which in turn enhances impulsivity and decreases self-control. But we already knew this. In the book Counsels on Diets and Foods, which is written in the late 1800s, it states, tea, coffee, and tobacco, as well as alcoholic drinks, are different degrees in the scale of artificial stimulants. The effect of tea and coffee tends to the same direction as that of wine and cider, liquor, and tobacco. Those who resort to tea and coffee for stimulation to labor will feel the evil effects of this course in trembling nerves and lack of self-control. Tired nerves need rest and quiet. Nature needs time to recuperate her exhausted energies, but if her forces are goaded on by use of stimulants, there is, whenever this process is repeated, a lessening of real force. In the book Self-Heal by Design by Barbara O'Neill, she states, caffeine not only dehydrates the body, but it also leaches calcium and magnesium. It's an antagonist to the neurotransmitter adenosine. Adenosine is needed for RNA synthesis and function. Caffeine also creates a very acidic environment in the body, And cancer loves an acidic environment. An ABC News anchor underwent 2 CT scans, one before drinking a cup of coffee and another after drinking a cup of coffee. As you can see, the result shows a dramatic decrease in blood flow to the brain. Caffeine reduces blood flow to the brain by about 40% by blocking adenosine receptors, which regulate blood flow. The blood vessels are constricted, and the blood pressure and heart rate also go up. Coffee and tea are not the only culprits. For instance, dark chocolate has almost as much caffeine as a cola. Coffee, according to the book Counsels on Diets and Foods, coffee is a hurtful indulgence. It temporarily excites the mind to unwanted action, but the after effect is exhaustion, prostration, paralysis of the mental, moral, and physical powers. The mind becomes innervated, and unless through determined effort the habit is overcome, the activity of the brain is permanently lessened. All these nerve irritants are wearing away the life forces, and the restlessness caused by shattered nerves, the impatience, the mental feebleness become a warring element antagonizing to spiritual progress. Those who indulge in a perverted appetite do it to the injury of health and intellect. They cannot appreciate the value of spiritual things. Their sensibilities are blunted, and sin does not appear very sinful, and truth is not regarded of greater value than earthly treasure. Tea and coffee drinking is a sin, an injurious indulgence which, like other evils, injures the soul. So what is the battle over? Our mind. Satan sees that he cannot have so great power over minds when the appetite is kept under control as when it is indulged, and he is constantly working to lead men to indulgence. Under the influence of unhealthful food, the conscience becomes stupefied, the mind is darkened, and its susceptibility to impressions is impaired. But the guilt of the transgressor is not lessened because the conscience has been violated till it has become insensible. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that has been set before us. Will you join me in laying aside every weight and the sin which so easily besets us? Can we go to Christ, who promises that he will not suffer us to be tempted above which we are able, but with the temptation he will always make a way of escape? Christ is our way of escape. He will not leave us nor forsake us. He has power to give us. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Amen. Amen.